Hello everyone, welcome on, and today I am joined by the one and only Kenny ahead of this weekend's NPL Finals. Kenny, how are you feeling?
I'm quietly excited. I think for the weekend it'll be a great occasion. Finally, LAN, meeting the team. Obviously met some of the team before our previous boot camp for Rainbow Rumble, but meeting the new guys, obviously meeting the other teams as well. That's going to be cool, and competing on LAN is a great experience.
It's been a pretty fun 12 months all in all for you. You know, you had the lows and then just nothing but highs then since Rainbow Rumble. You know, when you think of the tournaments you've gone through, you won Rumble, you went all the way through UCAN 2, you won it, your first season in NPL, and suddenly, not only do you make playoffs, you top a league that had the likes of Heroic in it. You're bound to be pretty proud.
Yeah, I think, well, we're only 3 points off Heroic, which after the first split would have been unthinkable, really. We were 6th place after the first split in NPL, but yeah, it's just been highs after highs, and I think the team is incredible at riding momentum, and I'm a great believer in motivation, and hype just elevates everyone, and the fun experience when you're winning is just brilliant. And obviously you take the losses, you take from the losses what you can, you learn from them, and then you just get right back on the train and keep the momentum rolling.
And then looking forward to this weekend, then we've got it's a very good, you know, group or finals that we have when you think of the teams that are there. You've got Victus, Viperio, TENSTAR, and Heroic. A tier 1 team, 2 teams that have already secured their place in CL, and then Victus that will be fighting tooth and nail to secure that spot ahead of the final CL quals. All in all, you'd nearly argue that this maybe means a little bit more to Victus than the rest of the teams.
Yeah, of course. I think if the ruling does go against Victus, that they lose the 15 points that they gained from the first CL quals, it will put a bit of a dent in their confidence going forward into the LAN, because it puts a lot more pressure on them. Those 15 points mathematically going into last CL quals are actually crucial. Jerry did all the maths in his little CL video, and yeah, those 15 points are actually crucial in their percentage chance of making CL. So a lot of pressure on Victus means a lot to them, but I would argue the same goes for Heroic. Heroic have been second fiddle in every single iteration of UCAN, as it previously was known, to Na'Vi every single time. Na'Vi won every UCAN season, Heroic always finished second, or Kawana as they were previously known. So with Na'Vi not here, they have all the pressure on them to actually win something. This roster has never really, apart from gaining EUL promotion, never really like won a tournament, because they've always just been second fiddle to Na'Vi and UCAN. So there's pressure on them and that core to really show up and make it their tournament. But us, 86 and Victus, we've shown that we can beat T1 teams very easily, so it's not going to be plain sailing for them.
It's a strange set of finals to be going into, Kenny, when you consider the fact that none of these rosters are going to be the same as what finished the last NPL play day. There's been so much talent that's jumped up. You know, you talk about the fact that Heroic have brought in 2 new players, you've brought in new players, you've obviously snuck away YZN, you know, you stole them away from one of your rivals. I'm sure you're happy about that one. And obviously Viperio lost players as well. So how much do you think a benefit it is to all the teams that everybody's going through a flux, everybody's going through a change? There isn't a team coming in that are the same as they had been.
It just adds that extra condition into what makes the weekend so unpredictable, because at first, if all the rosters stayed the same, you would just have the meta change to really differentiate the teams, like who would adapt to the meta quicker, because all in all, the meta has changed quite a lot, in my opinion, from the last stage. So the new operator Grim doesn't really see much play. He's not really changing things up, but I think the balancing changes to existing operators really is going to make or break teams and how they play the new meta. But obviously the roster changes just elevate that level of uncertainty even higher. So Victus are changing 2 players for the LAN because SkyT can't make it. So they're using a sub as well as losing YZN. We're probably the most benefited team in that regard because we've only lost 1 player. Every other team has made 2 changes. So we obviously have a bit of an advantage there, but we've got to make our advantage count. At the end of the day, we see Heroic have made 2 changes and they're already top of EUL after 2 play days. So it's really all to play for, and I'm so excited. The uncertainty is just what makes it great as a viewer, I imagine.
And how much would it mean to you to actually win MPL when you consider the amount of players that have gone on from TENSTAR to bigger and better things? You know, it kind of feels like it's Jags, Azure, and yourself now. For you 3 now, how important would this be to kind of cap off what's been an incredible year, incredible story for TENSTAR, the org?
I think it would be a phenomenal cap off, as you said, to the year. Just the metaphorical hill, we just kept climbing and then we reached the summit. It would obviously be a bit of a sour end if we didn't win. I don't expect us to win. All in all, expect Heroic to win. Like they are the favourites. But I hate losing. Everyone knows that. I hate losing more than I love winning. So I would love to win MPL for the first time. And funnily enough, my actual dream when getting into esports was just my one goal. My one dream was to compete at a LAN, and I'm fulfilling that. And whether I finish last or first, I've completed what I set out to do, and everything else is just a bonus for me. The team has already made CL, so we've achieved what we wanted to do at the start of the season. So everything else is a bonus. But I bloody love winning. I can't wait to try and lift that trophy.
Yeah, and well, look, you brought in a lot of very good players as well over the course of the season as well. You brought in, obviously, you got Yonka with tons of experience. He come into the roster. Zanoxo, who I've known through GSA, is an incredible player. He's been a fantastic addition. And then obviously you split up the Oscar YZN. Those 2 have been playing for so long, and now you've gone ahead and broke them up. So honestly, I think you've got a very good roster. I think you've got as good a chance. You know, you have to be in it to win it. So this is where I ask you the fun question that I'm asking everybody that gets on. At the end of the weekend, who's the top 4? It's a tough one, isn't it?
I think Heroic top, us second, 86 third, and Victus, because of their sub, I would put them last. I think despite the changes, I think if Victus were at full strength, I think they probably could best 86. But I think just the fact they have a substitute and it's such last minute, they're only going to scrim with him for a week or so. It just gives them that little less concrete value to their team in my mind. So that's how I would put it. I think Heroic, obviously being the UL team, they should finish top.
Okay, so we'll keep, we'll come back on that one at the end of the weekend and see how it all falls into place. So I want to move away from NPL now and talk a little bit about TENSTAR and the player development that we've seen over the last 12 months. We've seen 2 players make their way to Tier 1, and by all accounts, they're right at home. You know, they're showing that they deserve to be there. You've got Jags, who everybody thinks is the next man up. You know, he's absolutely fantastic at what he does. Zanoxo in there, and then you've obviously brought Yonka back in from Tier 1. What is it about TENSTAR that A, attracts in all this talent, and B, what is it about TENSTAR that actually develops that talent, that actually does enable them to make that jump up to the next level?
It's a hard one to say. I think that we have such a good environment. We're always very welcoming, and we're just a good bunch of people that we're always people see us as like I don't know what the right word is, but people see us as like not the holy grail, but we're quite sought after and thought of as a roster as a whole. Like TENSTAR has really gained ground as a name and a brand inside of Siege in recent times. So I think that the fact of the success we've had attracts people, and obviously the success doesn't come from nothing. We've shown our hard work, we've shown our ambition, we've shown that we can come back from failures, and I think that grit and the really quick rise to where we're at shows to the outside worlds that we have a lot of qualities that people would want to join. Obviously, I think of myself quite highly. I like to think that I elevate people and get the best out of them. But at the end of the day, it's up to the players themselves to use the tools that I give them to excel themselves as a player. So I only have to give credit to Savage and Leader for the players that they are. I can obviously help them as much as I can, but it's up to them to really make the difference between them being a T2 or T3 player and a T1 player. So yeah, it's all about just practicing, having fun, and making sure that you all have a common goal. And as long as you have a common goal of improvement, then everyone in the team will benefit. And I do just want to give a shout out to Azza. I think Azza is one of the most underrated, or actually, I think he is the most underrated non-T1 player at the minute. He, when teams were making changes, I'm fine saying this, Azza was the only player in my team not trialed for a T1 team. And as much as I rate my whole team, Azza has fundamentally some of the best communication from an entry, the best shot calling from an entry, the mechanics, the decision making. He is phenomenal, and it is actually criminal that he has not been given a chance at T1 yet. So I really just want to get him out there because he deserves it. And I fully think that yes, my roster could play and compete at T1 right now, but Azza especially needs some recognition that teams, in my opinion, aren't giving him.
Well, I think Azar knows that I have a lot of respect for him as a player too. I think most players that I speak to in NPL, I think highly of them, because at the end of the day, they bust their asses off to play at this level, and the hard work for the most part does pay off. But look, at the same time, the fact that nobody's tried them has helped you guys out, and I'm sure if you just go ahead to win NPL, there'll be a lot more interest about the roster, but I know that you would want to keep the guys together as long as you can as well. So yeah, big up TENSTAR. The last thing I want to touch on though, it's a bit about you, Kenny. So this is the fun part. A lot of the people that I speak of in the scene would rate you incredibly highly as a coach. Like, people have you earmarked, and a lot of conversations would say, yeah, Kenny could definitely coach at the next level. But I think one of the reasons why is not only the fact that you get the best out of players, but from what I can see, you genuinely do care not only about your team, but about the Siege scene as a whole.
I'm very, I would say I'm very selfless in what I do. Everyone has selfish tendencies, and of course I am selfish in some things, like arguments I would want my opinion to come across, but as a whole, like I just want the best for everyone, and I'm always here for a common good, and I never want to see people fall over or fail. I just want everyone to be the best person they can be, and whether that's out of Siege, whether that's in Siege, we're all, life's pretty boring. You've just got to enjoy it, and the people you're with, you've got to have fun with them. You've got to make them feel cared for, them feel welcome, and when everyone's just happy, no one wants to be moaning, no one wants to be sad, no one wants to argue, no one wants to take the mick out of people. Like, life's short, we're all gonna die. Just have fun and care about each other, because there's no point fighting. And I think that's where I just want the best for everyone, and like I care for the scene as a whole, because I want to see growth in everyone. I want to see growth in the scene. I want to see everyone succeed, and I hope that does come across in things, and I'm glad you've noted it, because yeah, I just want the best for everyone.
Oh, well, look, I think T3 is a gem. I genuinely think a lot of people in T3 are deserving of so much more. You're on that list, and I think a lot of people in the scene know that I feel the same way about them. But Kenny, we're coming to the end of the interview. Last word for you, I suppose, would be anything you want to say to all the viewers ahead of not only NPL Finals, but ahead of seeing TENSTAR compete in CL, Kenny! CL! Let's go!
Yeah, I can't wait. I think we're giving back to all the support that we've had over however long it's been. I've got to say the support from people and the love from people has been absolutely outstanding, and from talent, from casters are talent. What am I saying? All of the talent, or all of the talent that's not inside of NPL, like. EUL talent talking and giving praise to us. I remember like Eminem, the official Eminem account, tweeting about us when we won the Rainbow Rumble, congratulating us on the achievements we've made, and it is really nice to see. And I hope that us obviously climbing the ladder is a reward back for all the support.
Well, you've made it to T2, Kenny. It's bound to be exciting times ahead from not only you, but the TENSTAR roster. But guys, we're going to call it there. Best of luck, Kenny, this weekend, and I'm sure we'll all be watching, and we'll see you all next time. If you haven't, by the way, we've also done interviews with Chris Swords from Viperio and Oscar from Victus, so make sure to check them out. But thanks for watching, guys, and we'll see you again soon.